Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be taking the headlight housing out of a 4th gen Ford Explorer, and we're going to be putting in the Canbus or the decoder for the Sealight LED headlights, which are right there. So what you're going to want is either a 4 to 8 inch extension with I use a deep well 10mm for that bolt right down there. So you want to take these 3 bolts on each, so there's 3 bolts. You got that one down there, and you got these 2. These 2 you can take out completely. That one you want to leave in there because it will be a pain to get it back in with that washer on top. So I just take out the threading, or take the rest of the bolt out with my finger so I don't lose this washer. We'll just put that right there so I don't lose it. But basically, you want to try to get, okay, we'll just, may have to disconnect the battery. Alright, so like I said, with this one down here, you don't want to take it all the way out, otherwise it will be a pain, and you want to make sure that that washer does sit on top every time. You do have to watch out because there is a little pin, I believe, on the bottom side here where it goes right into a part in the fender to keep it still. That should be just enough to get it out. You kind of want to, make sure, kind of like rock it back, make sure that bolt is loose. I kind of grab here. So you want to start with this side, try to get this side out, kind of angle it up. And then an easy way to do it is kind of try to leave all the lights plugged in. Oh boy. It's a pain. There we go. And then this one, I want to pop off. This one, I think you press down and pull, just like that. And then the headlight comes out in full. You want to leave, I will tend to leave everything in. I'll just set the headlight down there. And then, so, down to the bone, we'll pull one of these out. I can grab one. So this side here will plug straight into here, and then this one plugs into the headlight. You want to make sure these sit on the outside, not resting up against the plastic, otherwise it will burn the plastic. I wonder if I could probably just stick it in like that, maybe. Looks like it would work. Unless I push it out through this hole here, which means I gotta take the battery out. Which, I think what I'll try first is doing it this way. Make sure everything lines up. We'll just check what's back here first. Okay, so that's just, that looks like it drops straight down in there. Yeah, so maybe, yeah, I don't want to put it up here by the battery just in case if it burns that plastic. So I think what we'll do is we'll stuff it in right here. Hey, look, my horn. And then probably with that one we'll do the same. Over here though, it looks like it doesn't drop straight down. Just over here, it's a different story kind of. But I think what we'll do is we'll plug it in sure it looks like it doesn't clip for some reason, unless there's a certain side it clips onto. Grab this one to check too. You know, it just looks like it slides right on. So we'll just... Alright, so my camera died there and it's going to die shortly, but I went through, took out the other headlight here, and we got the canvas on here. So what I think the best idea to do will be to plug the canvas in, kind of prop the headlight up like that, I would say. Go through, put the key in, turn it to where the headlights do turn on, and then shut the door, press reset, check right. Alright, looks like it's good. It's just saying, you know, check the right because it's not plugged in. It looks like the canvas is doing its job, which will turn off all the accessories, get the left headlight in, because what it will normally pop up with, instead of red, it will be yellow, and it'll say check red headlamp or check right headlamp or left headlamp. And all it is saying is just that it's new technology trying to go into an older technology. So it's not that big of a deal unless, you know, you don't have brand new LEDs in. So I think what we'll do is we'll try to unplug it here. You know what? Since this just slides right off like that, we'll pop it off. And then we'll work on massaging this part out over here. And then we'll stuff everything into that little pocket. So, couldn't pop this off. This is on extremely tight. So what we'll do is we'll plug everything back in. And then all of this we'll just plug in into each other. Send these right back here. Kind of poke the plug in there out through there. Kind of just massage everything back into place like so. And then, like I was saying, you want to get that washer right there above the plastic. And kind of like, you can't, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's that little pin that has to get into the hole, and then there's a rubber piece up on top, which I can show you on the other headlight here, which didn't sound like it popped into place there, which it did. But here, I'll show you on this other headlight quick. You got a little plastic rubber piece here, which leads it into a dip in the top, which, okay, yeah, right here, leads straight into there, and then that's where that pin goes. And then tighten down that bolt a little bit so that kind of holds it into place, and then these two bolts right into there. So we'll grab the ratchet here, make sure it's turning the right way for it, down, we'll start tightening everything up. I would be careful too if taking these out, because whole front end is, this whole front fascia is plastic until, you know, you start getting closer to the engine bay. Just tighten it down a little bit, pull it up, and then start working on these two bolts here, which I'll start doing this. Don't want to go too fast just in case if you do strip them until, you know they are in the threading, until somewhere sideways like this. Whoops. At some point, if after more use, these metal clips do get loose, which if you'll be able to see in the video more than likely how I move it back and forth, how that clip keeps moving back and forth. That's after taking out headlights or taking out housing multiple times. So the camera died for a second time, but I'm just gonna start recording on my phone. So you want to get this in, this clip. These two clips here, they'll move, which I'll show you better on this side, where after multiple times of taking it out, they get really loose, and at some point you will want to replace them, so even with this clip down here. But this one is a little tighter, and you want to make sure to get that little plastic piece right under there so it sits down and cinches it down. But I'm going to move back here, and you can kind of see how I got all the wiring in there, all kind of just pushed in. Got the canvas there, or at least the decoder part of it, and then I pushed the clip just outside the housing there, if it wants to focus down there. But undoes it or whatever, you can see it a lot better. I think with this one, I'll do it again because there's a little more room down here than over here by the battery. As I was saying about the clips, you can see on the ratchet how much play there is before it starts clicking. That's one reason why you will want to replace those clips at some point, which I ain't gonna be doing that for a while. Kind of grab onto the headlight housing itself, like the whole piece, kind of move it back and forth, and I pay attention to right here because you'll be able to see this move back and forth, and that's how you'll know when it's tight. This will be able to move a little bit. You don't want to, you don't want to rip on it just in case this breaks. Once you start getting closer to where the bolt is almost touching the washer, you want to do it at 1/8 of a turn when tightening it, just so you don't strip the bolt, so you don't go straight through the plastic or any of that stuff. Now we'll just have to move on to this part, go through, get all the clips in, and then put it back in. All right, so now got the headlights and the canvas back in, both of them. So now we're going to turn on the power. Looks like it's reading all okay, so go through. Take my hood stick out. Here in a second, but we'll open the garage door. Well, so my hood struts are bad, that's why I gotta use a stick. Otherwise, that will happen. Alarm goes off, and I'll turn off the radio here. All right, we'll just take it down the road here. Looks like she's doing okay. We'll just turn it in here and a little bit shitty. Actually, as a matter of fact, okay, we'll just turn it in. There was a car coming. I was gonna do a U-turn there, but I wasn't gonna sit in that turn lane. Guys, knowing my luck, there had been a car behind me. Yeah, like all of these cars here. Looks like we're good. I suppose that just concludes the video.